My skills are being used up. Hi, Fran.
Hi, what an act to follow, seriously.
No, no, no. Oh my God, no. Every single speaker is bringing something different to the table, and I'm very excited about what you're doing. So Fran is here to talk about camp productions. She is in the film and TV world. She is, doing the stuff, guys. It's very exciting. So, do you want to start by introducing yourself and also tell us about camp?
So, I am founder of Camp Productions. We are a production company that represents the underrepresented in commercials, stills, film, any kind of like moving image or any outputs we created. We're not limited to just doing commercials or anything like that. And one of the things I thought was actually more interesting for me to talk about potentially is my entry point into the industry, which is very non-traditional. And actually, I come from a very working class background, so had no idea that creative industries existed. I was basically made to be, a nursery nurse, or that was the ambition that the school had for me, and I found my own way through a temping agency into production. And it was I had a 1 week temping at Mother, which is a big ad agency, and I took that week unintentionally to have conversations with everyone. And I was like, this place is amazing. They had like a ski ramp as their desk, it's still there. Sorry, a skate ramp. And I was just like, this is incredible. And I had lots of chats with everybody and worked out what the most fun jobs were. And I whittled it down to creatives and producers because they travel, they do really creative, amazing work, and they seem to have a lot of free sushi. So I was like, okay, that's what I want to do. And I managed to stay at the company for a year. And I made the connections from there to move up and eventually do what I'm doing now, which is I'm an exec producer at Camp Productions. Um, and that was kind of like my biggest piece of advice is like have those conversations and actively listen. And you'd be so surprised at how willing people are to take a chance on you if you just say, I'll come and make the tea for you. It's such an undervalued skill, listening and be willing to do anything. I had a phone call and somebody was like, "We need somebody to go take some documents to Sao Paulo tomorrow." And I was like, "Yep, I can do that. I've got a passport. Let's go and do it." And that's where you kind of I started to gain the trust from people to get into the industry. So I started at ad agency, went over to production company, which are two very different things, but same part of the food chain. They're different parts of the food chain, but same food chain. Um, and the reason why I started up camp is because we couldn't, when my partner and I wanted to leave the previous production company, we couldn't see a production company that represented us, as queer working class. We're basically not traditional people, and everybody at the top of production companies all seem to be the same kind of middle class white guys. And so we thought we'd buck that trend. We started camp. We had a few single bids with Little Mix, so thank you, Little Mix. And single bid is where they choose to go with you. So we knew the money was coming in. We knew that we had our first startup fund. And we've just been going from there, just having a really strong online presence to keep that going. We keep going to festivals, we keep talking to people, and that's how we get the word out there. Sorry, I've whittled on. Keep going.
Love that. No, that's exactly what we want to hear. I mean, there's so many things to go into in your story that are so interesting. I think actually I'm going to start with the bit that you just mentioned, which is kind of alluding to the fact you mentioned that advertising is kind of part of the same chain or,
Yeah.
the same food genre in a way. And that's kind of the same with like music videos, isn't it? And like, like you were saying, festivals and we've spoken about film and TV so far being this kind of, high-end TV vibe kind of thing.
Mm.
When actually there are so many incredible productions that are kind of on a not a smaller scale, but a more boutique scale, I'd describe it.
100%. Now more than ever, young people can work into that because anyone can get a camera. You don't have to buy one, you can hire one on Fat Llama. And you can go out and make that content. You can make it with your friends. If you have a friend making music, go film them. Like a lot of directors now started out by making skate films back in the day, on handy cams. I still very much use handy cams in my work as well. And as you say, like every project's different. Last week, over the course of 3 days across London and Milan, I shot a music video for an artist at Polydor called Aura that was boxing Final Fantasy mixed animation with live action with stunt doubles and stuff like that on the Wednesday. I went to go shoot some interiors in Milan for the next 2 days and then finished the week off doing a Club Shy boiler room um, kind of film thing that was all like run and gun, us with our cameras running after artists for the evening. And I think I did probably 14-hour days every day of 3 days. It was crazy. And that is something you have to factor in, like doing those long hours. And I'm 40 this year and I'm still doing those long hours. They don't give up. But I'm a really, really hard worker. And I believe that everyone in production needs to have that same kind of work ethic. It's definitely not a 9 to 5. Sorry, I should, but it's not a 9 to 5 job.
This
It's
is all about realities, go for it, like lay it out there, but also like big highs come with they do come at a price, if you're flying all over the world, it's going to be long hours, and you're going to
yeah.
be,
Yeah, it is. Yeah, the Friday was picked up at 7 and got home at 2 in the morning. But I've got an edit this week and the edit's lovely and because you just get to chill out in an edit suite, have lovely lunch and watch your hard work all come together. But it's really important just like pick up that camera and if somebody gives the opportunity to go film something, just go do it. Or if you're a runner. And when you get given that opportunity, work as hard as you can, show value. And if you bring value to someone, they will get you back. If you're just sitting looking cool, anyone can look cool, but to bring extra value to whatever you're doing is why people keep bringing you back. And that's definitely what we look for in our production company because we have a lot of people come through the runner system because I started out as a runner at Mother. And so I really believe in doing the hard work, learning, taking notes, always have a notebook. Even if you never go back to your notes again, it helps all go in here. And just keep learning. It's one of those jobs that if you stop learning, you'll stagnate and you won't be relevant anymore.
Absolutely,
Um,
yeah. And I
yeah.
feel like the genuine passion for what you do and the industry, it has to be authentic. Otherwise, you will never be able to sustain a kind of fake level of here's high energy,
There's literally no way. There's no way you have to love it. And as the person before was saying, I think from the Manchester film board, there's so many jobs out there. And a nice thing to do when you're a runner is go chat to every person on that set at lunchtime. Go sit next to someone, find out what they do, because there are so many roles on set, and one of those might be more appropriate for you. Obviously do at the appropriate times. Don't go speak to the client until it's a good time to do. But yeah, just chat to everyone is my biggest piece of advice, and go to the festivals. Like I don't usually get time out to go to festivals, but I just premiered a film at Sundance in Utah, which is so exciting. And you just sit there on the bus that takes you from all the through all the theaters and having those conversations on the bus. I met some of the best people, that produced Kneecap last year, and now I've got them in my little black book. And so it's those conversations, and you don't have to have anything loaded from those conversations. It's just chatting to like-minded people. Maybe something will come out of it. And just being your authentic self is something else that I wrote down here. Like, think about your personal brand from the beginning because everything is seen online now. So if you're starting an email account, don't make it, candy puke something. Make it something that represents who
Yeah.
you want to be in your career because, that sort of stuff sticks with you. Um, the person that you put out there. You know what I mean? Yeah.
100%. You need to be careful with those things. My email address is not appropriate at all. I don't think I just don't use it. No, there's so many gems coming out of this conversation. It's amazing. Also, one of the things that I really want to touch upon is the fact that I guess you run your own business. You saw a gap, you saw a need for something that was different, and you went out and you created it. And that is such an inspirational story in itself. Like, tell us more about, I guess, how scary was that? How, I guess, much would you recommend a young person does that? And or not now, but as in, if they saw a gap and they saw something that they needed in the industry, like how easy is it to go and create that?
Do you know what? I was so naive. It was so wonderful to do something without knowing. So we didn't have any fear because we knew the money was coming in. And the hardest part about having a business is genuinely that keeping up with the finance. So doing your day-to-day job, but also keeping up with VAT bills, accountancy, keeping your receipts. I should have it tattooed on my head. Can I have a receipt with that? It's all the admin that goes with running a business because I have a producer brain. It's just about okay, but I'm also a mother. I also have a family, so the balance is really tricky. But I also think it's so easy to start a business in the UK. There's so much support for young people to do that. That just go and do it, but take baby steps. Don't just go all at once. Do it with advice. Do it with a partner, and have a bloody good accountant that's there in your corner to help. Um, Save as much money as you can, and also save money for a rainy day, even if it's 5% of the money that you make. Squirrel it away because the rainy day they come. Like January is always a very, very quiet time of year, so I always use January as a time to re-educate, do the admin, update the website, and then keep going. But it's really, really hard. There's a person on Instagram, they're called Bricks Magazine, and Toria West, who started up Bricks Magazine, she's so brilliant at talking about being a working class creative, setting up a magazine on her floor in her bedroom. And now she's a media owner. She has done that. She's done that journey, and she speaks very openly about not really knowing what you're doing, learning on the job, and you can do that. If you want to do that and you have the passion and the drive, you can do it.
Yeah,
So
no, great recommendation. I actually think I follow Tori on TikTok. Yeah, no, definitely great place to go and like learn about the reality, certainly.
yes.
Okay, in the last couple of minutes that we have, obviously communication has been a big theme already this morning, and you've mentioned it too, which is you kind of create your own luck. Go and talk to everyone and anyone. Aside from that, what would you say is like a kind of key piece of advice for a young person who's looking to get into a boutique production agency like yours?
So I wrote some things down. Make tea is one of my big notes. Always make tea for people. And I get 5 to 10 emails a day from people asking for advice, asking for jobs, seeing them all. And the ones I have too many to respond to. So the ones that I respond to are the ones that are genuine and tailored to us. The ones that I don't feel like they've picked us off of a mailer sheet. They've done their research. They know the last piece of work that we did. There's a reason why they're contacting Camp Productions as opposed to a Stink or a Blink or something else. So do your research about where you want to go and do it intentionally. And if you don't get a response, just pop me a DM and just be like, hey, I've just sent you an email. Because I'm more likely actually to respond to a DM than I am to an email sometimes. And links, always put links to your work, put links to your email. Like I get a lot of emails through that don't have any work or anything for me to see in them, so I can't make a quick judgment on that email. So it's just keep it succinct, not too many words, but make sure it's like well researched, why you're speaking to us, and what you want from this interaction. And I'm always happy to give advice, and I'm always happy if you say, look, I'd love to be a runner on the next job because of X. Then I'll take note of that, put it aside. Then we have a job, I'll bring it in. But it's the people that do the research that we listen to.
Absolutely. You can't just randomly ask guys. You've got to give a good reason as to why you. Um,
Yeah.
Fran, this has been so interesting. Thank you so much. It's been like lovely to hear from someone who is in the actual doing of it. So you have shared so much interesting, amazing insights there, and so much personal knowledge. I love that. I feel very invested in that.
Good, I like it. But always make tea. That's like my number one piece of advice. It's got me everywhere, is never be afraid to make a cup of tea for someone.
So true.